grow your market share. And that whatever money you're making, if you're fortunate to be making money, it's absolutely simple, it's not enough. And you certainly are not in a position to help grow our economy, to create jobs for our family leaders. So we're making that assumption. And if you don't fit that assumption, you're dearly welcome, because you can help us teach among ourselves the means and the ways by which we can be more prosperous. And in fact, we believe, sincerely believe, that we require you, we need you to commit to building wealth. And so while we started with the wealth building piece, because we want to put up front with you that we really are not interested in sustaining marginal businesses who barely can make it for themselves. We support that, but that's not what we're really about. We really need to help grow businesses that become very profitable. We have some outcomes that we're looking for. One is that we want to make sure that you are positioned to create jobs. So if you're a standalone business and all you want to do is stand alone, we're not sure how well you'll be successful doing that, but we're driven by the notion that we need to help people really grow. And for you to create jobs for others, you have to be wealthy. So LCCC and Sam Watkins and Kevin Field and those who are part of our family absolutely have no problem with you making money at all. We don't care what car you drive, how big your house is. Build more of them, invest more of them, because that turns the economy and keeps it trucking on. Second objective we wanted to really hit was to really help you discover new and expanded markets. Because we believe that in order for you to create the wealth building opportunity we're talking about that leads to job creation, so it's not just wealth building to fill your pockets. We expect people to reinvest back into this community and become more wealthy. But we want to show you the way about markets that you may not have thought about before, you may not have been exposed to it before, and hopefully with this particular workshop, these particular 4 sessions, you will learn and encompass the notion that we really are here as a business owner to find ways to serve the entire world market. The entire world market. So those who are colleagues serving a certain part of the community, for us to drive wealth, we really think we have to compete in the entire marketplace. So those are outcomes we're looking for. And this road that we have decided to drive down, and the reason we built this development, all the things that Kevin mentioned, is to drive that proposition. That we're going to announce to the entire community will hear us is that wealth is very important. And we have to find a way to build it, and we have to find a way to help people reinvest in it to create more wealth. Not only among themselves, but other people. And that's why we're so happy to have someone we think tonight who is a tremendous wealth builder and know how to build wealth. And we want to have a private session with him to afford an opportunity to pick his brain, but also have him share with you what we think is a very important concept, and to endorse it and embrace it. Because wealth building is critical to our community's well-being and to our future solution problem solving needs that we have for addressing not only poverty, but also opportunity for people to do that. So it's wonderful to have you. We hope that the investment we make in you, both in terms of the time spent with you, but also, as Kevin's mentioned, the incentives to come back and learn more. But more important than that, that incentive really is to help you invest in your business and your business idea. So we want to be a part of your business and invest in you. So we're trying to practice what we preach. So we raise money and we put up our money and we sacrifice to walk the walk. So we're prepared to invest in those who participate in us and hope we can find a way to be very successful with you. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate those remarks. We're going to get right into our workshop, but before we do, I do want to do two things. First, we want to go around the room and ask you to introduce yourself. And as you do that, in your package, you're going to find a form that on the cover it says the 10-minute business plan. And the 10-minute business plan is a format that we're going to use with the participants here to help you to share who you are, what business you're in, what product you're selling, the product or service that you're selling, and so on, as those questions so state on the form. So with that as a backdrop, I'd like to go around and ask you to introduce yourself very briefly before we introduce our speaker.
My name is Walter Hutchins. I am a history promoter, which means I use every means necessary to promote history. Therefore, publish, speak, write, travel. Original resident of Philadelphia, relocated here some 20 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. Good to see you.
My name is Elma Lucille Allen. I'm a retired chemist and I'm an artist, and I make ceramics and I do wall hangings, ceramic wall hangings, fabric wall hangings.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
My name is Jamala Cannon. Right now I'm in school. I was a school teacher. I work in education. I own businesses. I'm a writer. The school goes. I went back to school because I have it.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Melissa Love, and I am getting ready to retire, and so I'm looking to open up a business and create some wealth.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let me welcome you again, and thank you all for coming out tonight. We're excited about everybody being here, and certainly you can help us as ambassadors to share your experience here with others. But I want to get right into the purpose of you coming out tonight, and that's participating in this workshop led by James Marshall. But as a quick commercial too, just notice that we've got a 4-part series, so keep that in front of you. But tonight we're going to talk about capitalism in America as a foundational piece, wealth building. So we're pleased to introduce James L. Marshall with Marshall Wealth Management, LLC. And just to tell you a little bit about Mr. Marshall, he's been in the investment management industry for over 20 years. Started his career with Merrill Lynch back in 1988 as a stockbroker trainee, then moved to Washington, D.C. to work for New York Life, where he began to realize the importance of educating the Black community about the importance of comprehensive wealth building. So James is converted in these early years of training into a 9-year career with American Express before starting Marshall Capital Management Group, which has grown into Marshall Wealth Management Group. And he moved his business headquarters here just a few years ago from Louisville, Kentucky to Houston, Texas. He and his family, his lovely wife Donna, who we just learned is a native of Texas, have moved that way. But he still has holdings and interest in businesses here in Louisville. So we're just excited that he would agree to be a part of this series. And with that, I want to turn this over to Mr. James Marshall, who I call Jimmy. We go way back. So, Mr. Marshall.
So when you call me Jimmy. How's everybody doing? Well, it's a small group, so it'll be very informal. And what we want to accomplish today, first is make sure you understand what wealth is. And I want to find out what your opinion is of what wealth is. That's one of the main questions. So we're going to have an interactive discussion. We're not going to have a lecture. We're going to try to solve a dilemmas. The first one is, how do you build wealth? The second one is, how do you transfer wealth? My biggest concern about our community is we do not transfer wealth. Think of yourself running a 400-meter race, a relay, mile relay. And every time you give the baton to the next person, he has to turn around and run backwards, and then turn around and give him the race. That's what we do in our community, time and time and time and time again. You don't have to go far to see it. I grew up on 42nd and Broadway. If you go to 42nd and Broadway, you probably would not see any of the original families on that street. The older ones died off, the younger ones lost their minds. Houses were sold off. And that happens in a lot of our communities. So we do not transfer wealth. So we're going to talk about how we can do that. We're going to watch a little video to kind of set the stage for thinking in an economic way. It's kind of impactful. I hope it will be powerful, but I hope it will make you think. Because after the video, we'll go straight into me asking a little question. And that question is going to be, what is wealth to you? So keep your answer. But there was two videos I wanted to let you see, but this one I thought would be the best one to start with. Especially since none of you really own business. I know you've been wanting to get one started. But the second video was more towards business owners who actually have employees. But this one speaks more in terms of so take a look at it. I want to do that. I will. Question is, did you see yourself anywhere?
Yeah.
In that video?
Yeah.
Well, you know, a lot of people who we talk to over the years are in that situation. but they're sold. Oftentimes we get caught. Let me go back. You remember the whole concept of home ownership in the 90s and 2000s, and everyone and the daddy was saying you should own a home. It was a big initiative by the government, by social organizations, and the Urban League was one of the main pushes of that. Was that the correct way of going about it? Does everyone need to own a home? I say that to say the main reason why people do not succeed financially and don't build wealth is because they allow other people to determine what is wealth for them. Wealth is relative. Wealth means different things to different people. So what does wealth mean to you? And I'll jump out on this. Give me some thoughts. What is wealth to you? What does wealth mean to you?
Wealth means to me, maybe I have been able, maybe I've been fortunate. I've been able to, I own 3 homes in Augusta.
Okay.
And I've been able to, I've been retired since '97. I've not worked anywhere since I retired. And I believe that what you said up there, needs versus want. And I believe that's something I've been trying to teach my children and grandchildren. And I did it just by, when I turned 40, they had a stock plan that I invested in. And I had a daughter, I went to college, where I did saving bonds, and so she graduated, she didn't owe any money. You know, what I did, I cashed my bonds and paid for tuition, and we went along.
So you're saying that wealth for you is independence?
That's right.
And is there a dollar amount that makes you feel independent?
I don't think I'll ever really totally feel independent. I don't think anyone actually totally feels independent. But I feel a lot better than a lot of other folks.
Well, you've done well. You've been retired since '97.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. 3 homes, yeah, you're doing extremely well. Anybody else? What is well to?
It means to me having a secure future, as far as with retirement and, just as I get older and want to retire, I'm not guaranteed that Social Security is going to be there for me, and I don't want to have to depend on Social Security being there for me. I'm almost 40 years old, so I have, you know, when I get 80, I want to be able to be secure and still be able to survive and pay my bills, not just pay my bills, but live comfortably. And even make sure my kids are still, like she was saying, investing in having for your children as well.
So when you say retire, and you want to retire at what age?
Maybe 60, I don't know. I probably never really retire. I was like,
Maybe semi-retirement at 60.
Yeah.
So 20 years from now, what would you need to go into semi-retirement? How much money needs to be coming in from other sources other than Social Security? Because A, you can't get it for 2 more years. You shouldn't take it until 67 or 70. But what would you need coming in at that time? Just
I don't know. I never really thought of it, but I mean, I want to have as much as I can. That's me. I mean,
now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but there lies the problem. It's that ambiguous view of it.
okay.
I want as much as I can. So if you want as much as you can, you don't plan for any particular number. You don't plan for a number, you don't know how much you need to save, what kind of return you need to get.
Okay.
Every goal can be approached in 4 ways. If you want to retire and you can't get there, you can work longer. Or you can get less money every time. Or you can invest the money more aggressively now.
Okay.
Or you can require less money when you retire. You know those 4 things, but you gotta know what you're shooting for.
Okay.
You don't know where you're going to go to get you there. So I'm gonna come back to you later and ask you that question again. Hopefully you have some numbers for me. That's what it's like.
For me, wealth is freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
You know I should expand on that.
Well, freedom is the ability to, for instance, go when I want to, come when I want to, do what I want to, when I want to do it. However much I'm comfortable doing it. freedom, obviously, to eat and sleep with comfort. But that sums it up for me.
So what does it take to have that kind of freedom?
In terms of numbers, just under 6 figures.
And an account somewhere generating income?
7.
Several accounts. Under 6 figures.
Under 6.
Well, wealth to me is financial security. I would like to be financially secure in that I can create a job for myself and my children that will sustain us for a lifetime. That's what my goal is, to create a job for me and my children and their children.
I like that.
To leave a legacy. That's I'm
And give me-
fortunate enough to be able to retire after 20 years, so I'm still young enough to do that. So that's what I'm living for right now.
You have a number?
No, I haven't really thought about the number. All I thought about was getting there, trying to get there. I've never really thought about a number.
Well, this as a concept, I think, wealth is financial peace of mind, and versus work. And but in financial terms, I think wealth for me is a rolling base of about $10 million with freedom to liquidate $2 million a year. As my own
$2 million in
discretion.
terms of income, $2 million to invest back.
Well, I want a rolling base of 10 million, and I want discretion to use 2 million at my own decision-making power.
So are you saying 12 or are you saying 8? You saying you want 12,
Well,
10
my
is your base
Right.
foundation, 12, and 2 is your.
Yeah, so I need to be bringing in 2 a year, I need a base of 10, bringing in 2 more a year and spending it back out.
Okay, so something different. So you want an asset base of 10 million?
Yeah.
And you want income 2 million?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's.
Yeah, that's well said.
All right. Interesting.
And that's all dreaming, of course, but.
Okay. You know,
Nothing wrong with
you
dreaming.
all heard of this thing called vision boards, right?
Mhm.
Everything's supposed to be dream. Sam, you want to share with us?
Yeah, I think for me, it's really a relevant phrase or term, but in my day, when I live today, I think I wish I was at about a $2 million portfolio of assets that would generate cash non-taxes about $200,000 to $300,000 a year that will allow me to freedom is to really be able to cover the risk that I want to take and to affect change. I really do want to invest in people. I really do. And I want to be able to handle loss if it occurs, but that's my comfort zone as well. I want to change the world.
Change the world.
Mhm.
Okay, now would you say that you guys have doable goals, achievable goals? How many of you have them written down on paper as you express them to the board?
I have everything written down, but what it's gonna take. I mean, the numbers, but yeah.
Well, here's my view on wealth. Wealth to me is control, it is independence. It is freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do. For me, it's $25 million that is transferred over to the family in some capacity, whether it be cash and assets. It's a minimum of $250,000 a year coming in from other sources. Wealth is having multiple income streams. Wealth is when you're not working for your money, you're not sweating your money is making money. Wealth is knowing the ability of compounding interest. If you don't know the magic of compounding interest, you don't know wealth. You take a penny every day for 30 days, you double it every day for 30 days. How much money do you think you have on the 31st day? Take a penny, double it every day for 30 days. What do you have on the 31st day? What do you think? Do some numbers.
You said double the penny?
Double the penny every day.
What the day's total is.
Every day you double.
Yeah, so next day is two.
And the next day is 4 and so on and so forth. What do you think you have on the 31st day? I'm always amazed at the numbers I get when I ask this question. Don't be shy. Don't mind that. Penny, every day, 30 days, double it every day. What do you have on the 31st day?
It's over 100,000.
Way over 100,000, I give you that. Give you 2 more guesses every now and then. I'm gonna touch you guys. Just should take a stab at it.
So it's over 100, it's over, is it a million, less than a million? Yeah, I'm playing.
Yeah,
Over,
cheating,
not
man,
over.
cheating.
Yeah.
Now, that's a little slow, or using a pencil paper, you got number?
I was writing down, but I was guessing 150,000.
But I'm gonna give you the answer.
I'm down here.
Penny a day, double it every day. On the 31st day, you have close to $5 million. It's really hard to double in the 18th, 15th day. But if you double it, it's compounding daily.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's powerful. Think of it as a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Snowball's collecting snow, it's collecting snow, it's collecting snow. Now, building wealth means knowing what instruments will allow you to earn the money that you need to earn to reach your goals, and knowing what hindrances will keep your money from going. You have a rock sticking up in the ground every 10 feet. Chopping some of the snow off. What happens to the snowball leaf? Not as big as it could be, right? What does that rock represent? Taxes. Wealthy people manage their taxes. The super wealthy complain about paying taxes. But the fact of the matter is, in a percentage point of view, they pay a lot less than regular folk. This is true. But they pay a lot in dollars.
Okay.
But they do this because they realize the deteriorating effect that taxes can have on your wealth, on the compounding interest, compounding ability of your wealth. So you want to invest your money in such a way that it's compounding without the hindrance of taxes as well. So you want to think about that also. Now, have you given any thought to how your money is growing?
I know it's not words, and money and seeds.
Hold that thought, write that on the board, because that's where we are now. Now, and before I get to that, there's going to be 6 things that we are going to address today. We won't be here all night, I'm telling you. I'm going to move fast on the first 2. The first one's going to be cash reserves, and also cash flow. The second is going to be protection and investment, and taxes, and retirement, and estate planning. So, cash reserves, what are they? Cash reserves. Now, if you don't remember anything that I say today, remember this portion.
It's money that you can get your hands on today.
That's right. That's right. It's money that's there for emergencies.
Yeah.
It's also there for opportunities. Should you have too much money in cash reserves?
Should you have?
Should you? Is there such thing as having too much money in cash reserves?
Depending on your portfolio, yes.
And why would you say that, Mr. Hutchins?
Because there are investments that can increase your cash.
Absolutely. Cash reserve, anything that you can get at right away is not going to earn you very much money, is it? If you can can get it without any penalties, it's only paying you, you can get it tomorrow, then they're gonna pay very little. So if you put too much in cash reserve, you're gonna be safely losing money. You mentioned CDs. CDs are an instrument for cash reserves, and they're earning less than 1%. Unless you keep it every 10 years, maybe you get 1.2%. But they just don't earn, plus you're being taxed on CDs. Plus you're paying inflation on the money that wasn't earning much, so your money is safely being lost. The power of your dollar when you pull it out is being minimized. But you need to have cash reserves. I would say to you, one of the reasons why our community continues to fall below everyone else in terms of wealth building is because we're always dealing with Murphy. Murphy's always hiding behind a tree, waiting to get us, and we're not prepared. So he comes and we got to pull money out of our 401k. We got to take another loan out on a house, and so on and so forth, because of the lack of cash reserves. Because there's nothing sexy about cash reserves, but it's critical. You have to have it. You should have 3 to 6 months cash reserves. Now, some textbooks say up to a year. I will say the older you are, the more you might want to do a year. But here's the other thing to consider. When you're in a job that is unstable, that you don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow, you might want to have a year in cash reserves. Because as you know, you probably have friends who were downsized in the last 10 years and couldn't find a job for 2-3 years. So for them, they needed more cash reserves. So keep that in mind, but you have to have a cap on your cash reserves. Otherwise, you're safely moving. Now, where do you put those cash reserves? CD, as Alan said, that's a good one. Give me another. I'm glad you said that. You said that again? You said retirement account? What you, a 401k, IRA, something like that?
Yeah.
Now, I'm writing it down, but should I be writing it down? That's the question. Why not?
Well, you can't get to it, that's one thing.
Never, ever, 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 ever count your retirement account as cash reserves. And another thing, if you don't have cash reserves, redirect money that you put into your retirement account over to your cash reserves until you get cash reserves, and then go back to your retirement account. I'll say that again because you probably missed it. Because we all know how important retirement savings is, right? But man, if you don't have cash reserves, you're going to borrow from your 401k or pull the money out at a big penalty. So redirect for a minute, build up your cash reserves, then go back. Now, if you're doing 10%, your company's matching 50 cents on the dollar up to 6%, drop down to 6, use that extra 4 and go over to cash reserves. But you got to focus on cash reserves first. Good place for cash reserves: CDs, checking accounts, savings accounts, money market accounts, even cash. Why do I say cash? I used to not even say it until the last 5 years. No, wouldn't say it at all.
You.
Wouldn't, no, I wouldn't say it.
You.
I wouldn't.
But it was
I would beg you not to keep cash in the safe. It was being done. I had clients that would go to a home and actually physically take money out of the safes and put it into accounts. Well, when the banks went down and when the economy really got messed up, you really couldn't get at things as easily as you would want. So I believe 10% of your cash reserves can be held in cash. Find the number. The number's usually about $1,000 to $2,000. No more than $5,000 you want to keep in the safe because it's earning you nothing at all. So you want to control that. Sometimes it just makes you feel good to have cash. Now we all know, we've heard stories of people who died and they got millions of dollars hidden around the house. That's true. It happens. So don't be that way. So cash reserves, checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, money market accounts, and some cash, which you must have. It's not exciting, but you must have it. That is the foundation. When you wake up in the morning, there are certain things you must do first, right? You gotta put on your socks, you gotta put on your underwear, you gotta have your cash reserves. Clear? All right. Protection. Oh, before I go to protection, what do you think is the biggest obstacle in our community to building wealth and to having cash reserves? There's 2.
I would say trust.
What do you mean?
It's
I think we really don't know where to put our money to earn.
But
Yes.
that would not be an obstacle to keep you from saving, it would be an obstacle for you putting this in.
Put it on.
So what do you think would be the obstacle to keep you from actually accumulating cash reserves?
Just buying things you don't need.
Negative cash flow.
Yes.
Spending more than you're making. We've all been there. Here's what I want you to do for the month of June. If you've never done it before, to be excited, do a diary of all of your expenses. Every day, write down everything you spend. Pack it down, write it down. It's going to let you know where the holes are in your bucket. Like when you were young, you was riding your bicycle, you got a flat tire, you fill it up with air, you put it in the bucket of water, and the bubbles come up, and you know where to patch the hole. So we need to find out where you're overspending and where to stop spending, and redirect that money into cash reserves. This is really simple. It's no fun writing down everything you spend, but you need to do it. Because you have bad habits, man. You're going to the grocery store and you're buying cans of soda every day when you can spend in bulk if that's what you want to drink soda. But you want to spend your money more responsibly. The other thing is debt. In particular, credit card debt. What's the average interest on a credit card?
20+%.
Yeah. And we're not even getting into the back and pay places. Do you know what people are paying on average for payday loan facilities?
What's his name?
Higher than,
What's his name?
Check the
Payday loans.
thing. Like 800%. Because what happens is you keep rolling it. It is worse than crack cocaine. And they're everywhere. And that's very detrimental to building wealth in the community. But debt is a bad. So we need to deal with the debt immediately. But here's the question. Get this right. I'm using curse the ones that hand out $90 cash. Okay, you get this right, I'll be very happy. Okay, we've dealt with your cash flow, right? For the sake of this workshop, all you guys are making $5,000 a month and only spending $45,000, but you have no cash reserves. And you have $15,000 in credit card debt and on average 18% interest. What do we do first? Do we attack this debt or do we deal with the cash reserves?
I say we attach the debt.
Yeah, we got a debt who agrees from this out.
Cash reserve.
I don't like being in
We
debt.
got one cash reserve, we got two debt, you got a debt too?
No, I would attack the debt. I don't like being in
Debt?
debt.
Debt? Yeah.
Yeah, there's some habit that.
Sam, you and I don't want to room say that you don't attack the debt first. You do. Here's the thing, if you attack that debt first, what's going to happen? There's Murphy again.
Yeah, you show up on.
You're going to show up, you still don't have no cash reserves. Then what? More debt.
oh, you didn't say we had no cash.
Yeah, I said you had no cash reserves. No cash reserves. You're doing it in tandem. Remember, you have how much left over? $500. Why don't we put $250 towards the debt, $250 towards cash reserves? Do it in tandem. See, people like Dave Ramsey, who you know is a great guy, but these guys are extreme. And they get depressed for the extreme. You're not going to do those things.
Stop dealing with it.
I've been doing this 25 years, and I know if I tell you not to get your hair done, you're going to laugh at me. You're going to get your hair done. You're getting your nails done. So what we do is manage it. Manage how much you're spending on those things. Deal with you where you are. You know? Does that make sense? That's critical. So we're good on number one.
Yeah.
So how many have cash reserves that they should have right
What did you
Half
put
the
your
room?
question?
now? How many have the cash reserves that they should have right now?
Working on it.
All right, very good. Okay. Protection. Now, this is the area that is so important, and we miss it often. Here's the deal. If life insurance were free, we'd all be in line getting it, right? Everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. But you know, you never call up an insurance guy and say, sell me some life insurance. You usually sold life insurance, which is why you guys have like a $100,000 policy. Where does that number even come from? You have a $50,000 policy. Where's it come from? The agent knew he can sell you the 50 out of 100 and want to get paid. But the fact of the matter is you need much more than that. You need to back into what your insurance needs are and then address the whole need. You need to have life insurance. If you have kids, you must have life insurance. If you love your community, you need to have life insurance. If you are really active in your church and want to see it grow, life insurance. If you want to see LCCC really do its thing, life insurance. Most of the charitable giving in large organizations are done through life insurance. In our church, each of our churches, we could wipe out poverty in our community in one generation with life insurance. Think about it. Life insurance is leverage. You're controlling millions of dollars with thousands of dollars. Most people need at least $1 million in life insurance. It's just as simple. Let's do the math. You got a mortgage on your home. Let's say it's $200,000. For the sake of this discussion, your children are 15 and 16, and they're going to college, and it's going to cost you $150,000 for each of them. When you say that's about right, let's say 100. They're going to Western, so it costs you what, 75. So that's 150. So that's what, $300,000, $400,000 right there. You're earning $50,000 a year. You're married. You want to help your spouse survive for at least 5 years because now your spouse is losing $50,000 a year. Textbook says 75 are due. So what's that? Another $250,000? That's $650,000 right there. You see what I'm saying? You need life insurance. You was gonna say something? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let alone if you wanted to leave something to your nieces, nephews, or whatever, you need to tax it on as well. I know it's no fun paying the premium. It's necessary. Now the question is, what kind of life insurance? We're going to be quick on this because it's not exciting. But there's maybe 4 or 5 different types of life insurance. I've heard of group life, which is a type of term life insurance. Term life insurance, whole life insurance. Write this down. Term life, whole life, universal life, variable universal life, and now fixed index universal life. What is term?
No savings.
No savings, no cash value built up. Cheapest insurance you can get, you're renting it. You're saying, all right, I want about 10 years. I think I'm going to die in the 10th year. About 10 years worth of insurance. Rent. Very little cost. The cheapest term is year to year, but it goes up every year because you get closer to death, right? As you get older. Is term a good deal? People say buy term invested dividends is what AOL said. It depends on your situation, but if you have the financial wherewithal, you should almost always get permanent life insurance because, you know, you get nothing, you don't know when you're going to die. And plus, if you get a 10-year, 20-year term in the 21st year, man, the premium is less than 3% of term costs is paid death benefit. Why do you think that is? Careless.
People don't keep them on.
They don't keep them. They don't keep them. When they get to the point where they're ready to die, it costs too much. They drop.
So don't get term life insurance?
If you can afford permanent, get permanent. But if you are short on cash, you get term. Because you can convert the term to permanent later.
You get a larger.
But get some.
A lot cheaper price.
Absolutely. But look, your best bet here is to first go with the group coverage at your job. It's always the cheapest place. Then you go to your organizations and associations. AAA, AARP, JCP. Everybody in there has some type of affinity plan for insurance. So get those as well. So that's good. One more thing I'm going to say about life insurance is, how many people have had someone in their family die that didn't have life insurance and you had to come out of your pocket to pay for it? I know I have. So with that said, wouldn't it behoove you to have this discussion with your siblings, with your cousins, with your parents? Not a fun discussion, but it's needed. Whole life.
Let me add one of the things, remember, this is about investing in business, and I'm just sharing with you the reality of the marketplace. You know, we learned over time, my family, that we had a couple crazy
Yeah.
street hustlers,
Yeah.
bums, acting foolish, and they're young. And so, at our family reunion time, we got together and convinced me to buy an insurance policy on this young man for the express purpose of covering
Case of death.
death
Yeah.
and transfer some wealth to his children, who he didn't take care of. That was 2 reasons.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and Alvin was that, and it was so cheap to get term, and he didn't have enough bad enough record that made it out, but he didn't smoke the trick down those. And so we got term, and very cheap, $100,000 term life insurance. Very inexpensive, just to go with it, after we before. Lo and behold, 4.5 years later, was killed on a drive-by.
Okay.
But he played in that game, so that's why it was a risk. It was the most wonderful thing. It was the most wonderful thing to collect that policy and give it to those 2 children. Man, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I get goosebumps now. And the cost was so minimal to give some, transferring this knucklehead in up to his death, contributed to his children. Very powerful. It's a very personal story. I don't share it, but insurance can really help create wealth.
It works. It works. I mean, look, rich people, and another thing, insurance is not just a protection thing. Insurance is truly the last really good tax advantage investment out there. Now, we don't have enough time to go into the real complicated advanced views of insurance and what we do with a lot of our larger clients. We just did a policy 3 months ago for $6 million for a client that has a business. And we do a lot of key man policies, ambassador groups, executive bonus plans, golden parachutes, those type of things. But when you dump $1 million into a variable index universal life policy, it controls maybe 3 or 4 million. That million is growing tax deferred. 10 years from now, that million may be worth $2 million under the Rule 72. Let's say it's only worth $1.5 million. Well, you can pull that $1.5 million out tax free. So that extra $500,000 is not taxable because you pull it out. First, you pull out what you put in, then you switch to loans.
Okay.
So life insurance is extremely flexible in a lot of different ways. So,
Well, why is it like those 2, like the variable and the I've never even heard of those.
yeah, a quick lesson. You know, A.L. Williams came out and destroyed whole life, and rightly so, because it didn't really work. It was paying 3% and just wouldn't function. So you hardly ever hear about it much.
No.
Back term invested difference is the thing. Well, you know, A.L. Williams didn't have enough people to really push that. So the insurance company said, okay, he's got something going here. So let's back term and invested difference for our clients by getting variable universal life. Well, actually, first universal life came. It was paying those interest rates. In the 70s, universal life policies were paying 12%, 14% interest. Well, what else was going on in the 70s? Inflation was about 12, 14%. So when inflation came under control, guess what happened to the rates on these universal life policies? It came way down and started going up.
Okay.
The agents started calling and said, you don't put more money in, your policy's going to lapse. So that didn't really work. So they came up with variable universal life policies where you have mutual funds attached right to the policy. So maybe your premium is $200 a month, but only 50 of it is going towards a term policy, 150 is going to the mutual fund account. So now you're growing by owning equities. But equities fluctuate up and down, plus there's a lot of hidden fees and management fees, and it was cutting into your growth. So, you know, that's still around, but most professional advisors don't, I should say most registered investment advisors, which what we are, don't sell them because of those fees. But the fixed index universal life policy, woo, that's the thing. Because it's not in the market, it tracks the market. It follows the index, the S&P 500, which is the 500 stocks in America, the Barclays global bond market, the NASDAQ market, that tracks small caps, mid cap, low cap, international. It just runs alongside the market. So it has a cap. And most of the good ones have a cap of like 15 to 18%, so you can make up to 18%, but you can lose nothing. The worst case scenario, you get a zero return if the market goes down. So this is the one that is really extremely effective.
Jeff, can you, I have variable, can you transfer it to that,
Absolutely.
to your
Absolutely.
existing company?
Absolutely. Now, not all companies sell fixed index annuities, but most of them are fixed index universal life policies. They're starting to. All the big ones do.
Equitable?
Equitable does, and they're a very strong company. Okay, text.